Good evening, good morning for you in Canada. Dr. Dina Al-Tayeb. I'm super excited because we know us for so many years already, Dina. And I've been witnessing, obviously, your career as a triathlete, but I think you have a much more interesting story as well to tell from all your life. And I want to give people a bit of an idea. Obviously, Dr. Dina Al-Tayeb, you are a periodontist and implantologist. You have dental clinics in Jeddah and all around Saudi Arabia. You're a professor a dental professor. You're a mom of three beautiful girls. And you are a triathlete since 2002. You've been the first ever Saudi national, male and female, to complete an Ironman distance in 2005. And overall, you completed the amazing amount of 17 full Ironmans, which is 4 kilometer swim, 180 kilometer cycle, 42 kilometer run, and over 100 races completed in 17 years. The first ever Arab female national to qualify for the World Championship in Hawaii in 2018 and 2019, and first qualify for the half Ironman World Championship in 2017, 18, and 19. So welcome to the show. It's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Wolfi, and thanks for inviting me. You and I go way back from over 20 years that I've been coming to your shop. So thank you. It's a nice addition. I love listening to your talks every week, and I'm grateful to be part of this now.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, you're one of the champions, and so we have to see and learn about you. We prepared a little clip to show people a little bit about your career and about your races. So I have Will on the line, and he will just start that clip, and so we will look at this, and then we will talk a little bit about what's in the clip.
Perfect.
I've been doing triathlon. My first triathlon was 2002.
Wow, amazing. Well done. Congratulations. I think it's just unbelievable. Yeah, all these events and everything. And at the end, a very special note, and there's a very special story to that note. Would you mind sharing the story with us?
So, you know, in these races, these long endurance races, it takes a lot. It takes a lot mentally, it takes a lot physically. And it's not all, you know, no matter how well prepared you are to go on this event, there would be like rough moments where you doubt yourself, where you doubt whether you could do it or not. You don't feel well, your stomach doesn't feel well, your body's hurting, and it all comes to the power of the mind. But it also comes to the support of the people around you, whether it's your own family or whether it's random people. So this little Post-it note, I keep it in my wallet now. This was from this 2019 Kona. And I remember it was a super hot day. I've already done like a lot of races. It was the end of the season. And it was dark and it was hot day. The sun has already gone down, and I'm running the energy lab and really suffering and, thinking like, okay, am I going to be able to do it? And then just a volunteer girl from the aid station, she brings a Post-it and write a note, here, you can do this, and just hands it to me and say, you could do this. And this was my motivation to finish the race. So sometimes, even though we count a lot on our family for support, sometimes support comes from a random stranger. So every time I go through a rough time, I pull this from my wallet and say, I got this.
Very good, very good. It's very nice, and I think obviously the support comes when you look for it. And I know you many years, and you're a very positive person. And I think obviously you look for support and you see it. And I think this is the mindset of a champion. So well done. And I'm sure the girl. Did you meet her afterwards? The lady who gave you the note?
I actually did not. They have a lot of volunteers, and they were just, I think, just sitting, singing and cheering everyone. And she thought that this is, maybe I needed it, and I did.
Very good, very good. I want to go to the beginning, and I have a lovely story where little Dina goes to Switzerland and goes to a dental clinic. I think 8 years old or around this age, and you were so impressed about the office of the dentist and all the drawers and all the clean office and all the tools and everything. And then little Dina told herself, listen, one day you become a dentist. And a couple of years later, obviously you are a dentist, very successful with your own clinic, a professor and everything. So how did this start, that you had that mindset and that clear vision for your life to become a dentist and later then as well triathlon? How did this all come about?
I don't know. I think my mind works in a weird way where I get obsessed with a goal. And I think maybe this serves me in my, my achievements. So I do remember, going to a dentist. My mom took me to the dentist, and he would just dressed neatly with his lab coat and opening all these drawers. And I looked at it and I was just fascinated by the smell of the clinic, by the, many things in the drawers. And I told myself, this is what I wanted to be. And it took a while, it's not easy. I was then married and I had to go to dental school, being married and having kids during dental school as well. So it wasn't easy. There were a lot of points where I thought, okay, maybe I should just transfer to something easier. Maybe this is a rough, path that needs better, more dedication, not someone with a family and kids. But I'm glad I stuck with it. I had a lot of support around me, my parents, my mom and my dad. And I stuck with it, and I'm happy to have a job that I love. I think that's a blessing, to do something you love.
Very nice. And your parents and maybe grandparents, when you said you're becoming a dentist and later you're becoming a triathlete, what did they say? Did they agree with your choice, or did they challenge these ideas?
No, they agreed with the choice. I mean, your parents always look for your best interest and whatever makes you happy, regardless of what you choose. If it's something, the path that makes you happy. And I'm glad this is an athletic path, that serves the body good, serves the soul, gives us a lot of time in nature. So your parents will always love you and support you.
Very nice. And when did you come across triathlon? When was the first time you saw somebody swimming, running, cycling?
I think triathlon came to me. I didn't go to triathlon. So what happened is I was just randomly, I've never been a serious swimmer. I've been a runner. I was a runner, just doing some 5-10K races when I lived in the States. And I remember going to hiking with a coach, with a personal trainer. And I was just making conversation with him, asking him what's his, ideas and what he's going to do for the rest of the day. And he said he's training people for Ironman. And I came home and kind of started to research, what is this Ironman he talks about? I thought it was something like, sounds like CrossFit, but it wasn't. And oh my God, this is something super strenuous. By the end of that summer, I did my first duathlon, which is a run bike. And I looked at people coming out of the water and thought this was something too stressful, and that I never should put myself in that. But, gradually you start trying a little bit, and every year you find another goal, and they say, okay, maybe I'm ready for the next step. Maybe I'm ready for a half Ironman, for a full Ironman. and you just, progress. It's the nice thing about this sport is it's a challenge against yourself.
Mhm.
It's not as much you against other people, unless you want to, be at a professional or a top competitive level, but it's a race within yourself.
Mhm.
It's within your own body. It's within your own challenges, and it teaches you a lot in life.
Mhm. And where do you feel you get the motivation from? Is it just you against yourself to see, but how did you get the energy from training? Obviously, you have a dental clinic, you have 3 girls to look after, you have a family to look after, and then you want to do triathlon, which is difficult in itself. I mean, it's swimming, running, cycling. So how did you do it? I mean, I think this is the main question I get asked a lot. How did you do this? Yeah.
So it was my dream to chase Kona.
Mm-hmm.
They every year they produced a DVD of the Kona video of the year, and I looked at it while I was training. At the time, there was a lot of indoor training. There weren't as many facilities outside, and I would watch it day after day, and one day say, I will be in this video. One day I will be in this video. And that was my motivation. Every time I thought of like, okay, I'm tired, maybe I don't want to do this, maybe I have too many other responsibilities, I watched the video and I told myself, this is what I want. It's the passion inside. So that was really my passion. And it took 15 years for me to go to my first Kona, which is a long time, but if you have the persistence and if you still have the passion, you can get there.
And which event was it when you qualified, and how did you feel when this then finally came across?
You know what? I came across in my life a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of support, but also a lot of doubt. A lot of people that thought, oh well, just the statistics don't make sense. How can you even be there? But I never doubted. Like I always thought I always truly believed, I could see it, that one day I will be, on that big island with everyone. and it happened. I started not focusing as much about the end result, about, okay, this is not calculating that if I didn't get my Kona spot, it was a failure. It was still a success, but maybe it wasn't time. So it was Chattanooga in 2017. And it was a super hot day where a lot of athletes could not finish. And of course, being from Saudi Arabia and training in Dubai and in Saudi, I have the heat advantage. So I finished the race and I looked around and I looked at the statistics and I just could not believe that I made it and I got my spot, because it was a hot day and it was very challenging for everyone else, where I felt I handled that challenge well. So sometimes your success comes in a way that is unexpected, which makes it beautiful.
Fantastic. And then the whole preparation, obviously, now you're going to Kona, the travel there, and then really being the first time in the water, waiting for the gun to go off, that cannon shot. How do you remember that moment?
Absolutely, I remember that moment, and I remember I went to Hawaii, to the Big Island, about 2 weeks early. Yes. And I just could not believe it. I would run and I'd look around like, this is it. I am in the video now. I am where everyone else ran, where everyone else swam, where all the pros were. And it was super grateful to be among like the best athlete in the world. I mean, when you see the level of fitness and the level of athletes that make it to the championship, it's great. So I remember, looking around, because it's at the start of the swim, there's like helicopters and lights and noise, and you just look around and almost like want to capture this moment. So to let yourself, like, it's just special. It just brings tears to your eyes.
Very good. And you had it 2018 and then 2019, you went again.
And then I went again in 2019.
Wow. Wow. Would you feel is the first one more impressive, or could you enjoy the second one a bit more, or they're of course the same, or would you describe this?
I've always, everybody talks about the wind and the weather and the conditions in Kona. And I remember forever, I kept on saying, the year I will do Kona, it'll be a very calm year. There'll be no wind, the weather will be good. And that's exactly what happened in 2018. So it was a super calm, this is where all the records were broken, because the weather was just unbelievable. So there is something about the first time. you do anything. It's just
Yeah.
special. If we take the time to just absorb that and embrace it and just take it in our, you know, subconscious, it's amazing. The second time was also great. I loved it, but it was more the normal Kona of hot and wind. The conditions were super challenging and stuff, but it is still a great, great honor and huge blessings.
Very good. And what's the plan now for 2021 or 2022?
Well, now with, you know, everything that's happening and
Yes.
COVID, there's no plan. I mean, it's hard to
Mhm.
plan anything because races get canceled every day. I don't think I'm not sure what's happening the rest of the year, and even Kona got postponed to February. So I don't know. This year is different.
You're planning to qualify again? Obviously, you have to qualify in another race to become there. You have plans for it, or you put everything a bit on hold and wait for 2022?
No, I think, you know, this is, being in around the pandemic time and COVID teaches us a lesson, you know, and also gives us a chance to just pause and think and see if this is really what we want to do. So it's I'm still keeping fit. I'm still training. I'm still trying to do a little bit, obviously without a set race in the calendar, because we just don't know, you know, if it's like we go back in 2021, maybe that's maybe more realistic. But eventually things will go back.
Very good. Did you infect any of your three girls with the virus of triathlon? Is this something you?
I have to correct you a little bit. I have two girls and a boy.
2 daughters and 1 son. Sorry. Yes.
Two girls and a boy.
Yeah.
They're all athletic. I have a daughter that is a yoga teacher.
Okay.
I have my youngest daughter, Tan, was a swimmer. She's an ex-swimmer. She was really good in swimming. And I have my son that is into fitness as well and stuff. So
Okay.
none of them actually did triathlons, but they supported me. They used to make a T-shirt every year at the end of the race and write and, you know, put some glitter and some stars. And I have these T-shirts. I keep them in my drawer.
Very good. Fantastic. What comes the easiest to you? Is it the swimming? Is it the cycling? Is it the running? Where do you feel is your strength, and where do you train the most? What do you enjoy the most?
I think my strength and what I train the most are not the same.
Okay.
So I think I'm just naturally a strong cyclist.
Okay.
Maybe just my, you know, my body type or my genetics. I'm a good cyclist. So that's my strength. My weakness, I would think, is probably the swimming, just because this where we live, you know, in the Red Sea is a beautiful sea with no waves. It's very temperature, pleasant water. So swimming in conditions that are a little different, with waves, with cold, with rough water, sometimes presents itself as a challenge. I would think I'm an okay runner too.
Very good. For the training itself, when did you realize that you maybe need help from a coach, and when was this decision made? Did you get some support, or was this very early on that you had somebody to look after you?
My biggest challenge, Wolfi, was where I lived and the accessibility to resources and stuff. So I almost had to learn by trial and error, and I used several coaches, and most of them were on a different time zones and you know, sending program online. So obviously this is different than having a coach that is, you know, in person, that would help you and stuff. But I always believed in mentors. I always, in my life, I believe in mentors. I believe that there'll always be someone that knows a bit better than you, that could coach you, that could guide you and prevent you from making a lot of mistakes, and, you know, give you the encouragement or the change of program to get the best out of you. So I realized early on that I need coaching. My challenge was where do I find the resource and how to go about it.
If you go to the races, do you have a certain program? You have a certain ritual on the days of the race when you come to the event the day before? Maybe what's the preparation look like when you go for an event like Kona?
So I always like to go to the race about a week early. Just because I need to almost like blend in with the environment, feel the environment, feel if it was hot or cold or the weather or the terrain. I always like to swim a few times before the race to kind of test that body of water, just feel what it's like to put your head down and start swimming with the water. Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it wavy? Same with the run, just check the bike course. So that's leading to the race. So I like to, get there, get the travel situation and the challenges of the travel over, and just kind of embrace the environment for a few days. And then the morning off, I like to wake up very early. I don't like to wake up. I probably wake up the earliest of everyone because my ritual is pretty long. So I start by meditating and then praying and doing specific prayers that I do pre-race, and then speaking to my parents, to my mom, to my kids if they're not around, to my friends. It's a lot of, but I like to almost like when I go race with everyone in my heart, not just myself. So I like to connect with these people that are that mean to me, and just make sure that I have their love and their support for the day, even if they were not with me in the physical space. And then I slowly walk to the race side and do more meditation and just I always try to find a quiet spot away from the crowd, because imagine when you have 2,000 or 3,000 people in the same spot, it's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of built up energy. So we're not like, we are exchange of energy, so we will take that in. So I try to find a quiet spot and breathe a little bit and start the race. And the hardest part of these races is just probably the 15-20 minutes pre-race, when you're dealing with the unexpected.
When something happens and you're not prepared. Do you have any special food, any special things you prepare with yourself with for the day, and what you eat during or before and during the races?
During the races, my body performs well on solid foods. So I always like to eat solid food as opposed to like shakes and gels and stuff. So I'll try and see what I can get in terms of a solid food that I could use, whether during the race or pre-race. So I'm not like, it's not very technical or difficult. And
in transition, you have any something secret in your transition bag which you use? Is anything special?
I think I must have told you the story. So I had like many years of GI issues, and not feeling well in the race and not being able to tolerate food. And during these long races, it's hard. So one day I decided to change this a little bit, and I realized that the reason my body is not performing well is I'm not slow enough to digest the food. So I started taking a little bit of a longer break in the transition or in the special need, and just having some solid food. Sometimes it's pizza, sometimes it's a piece of sandwich, sometimes it's some juice and something that I could eat solid. And then I tell myself, this in 17 hours, 3 or 4 minutes is probably the strength and the energy that I need to finish.
Well spent. Yes, absolutely. And obviously that's a long day you describe. It's like many hours, and I'm sure there's some dark places you visit. What do you tell yourself to get yourself up into the sun again after you have been in that mindset, when you think, okay, that's enough, I can't do this anymore? What's going through your head?
I picture the finish line.
Okay.
And I picture all the people that are with me in my heart, all the people that I called in the morning, and how much they're like cheering me, and just, I always try to stay in a positive state of mind, and just look around for a little volunteer that is clapping, for, I don't know, maybe a bird in the sky, maybe just something positive, because we get into that dark, as you said, dark spot where you start doubting yourself, you start looking at the watch and like, this is so slow, why even bother? There's not going to be Kona spot. And it's important to feel positive, to just keep on positive state. And I tell myself, just one step at a time, just one step forward, and before you know it is finished. So I start calculating, okay, kilometer 1, kilometer 2, one step closer.
Fantastic. And what's the reward after the finish line? Obviously the next day, so the days after, obviously you have done a lot of sacrifices during training, preparation, diet. So what's Dina's reward after such an event?
Massage. Book the longest massage, 2-hour massage.
Okay. Any special food? Anything you have?
For afterwards,
Yeah.
not for afterwards, because afterwards it's your body's in a bit of a shock and stress.
Mm.
So it's whatever I can handle. Food is not what I would crave, but massage and some treatment for my body would be positive.
Mhm. On Instagram, people can find you as the Arabian Tri-Eagle. Uh, where did this name come? Obviously, where did the name come from?
The eagle is a strong representation. It's my spirit animal. So I love the eagle. I take the strength from the eagle. I take the eagle always flies high, and it's never with a big pack. It's only one, sometimes two or three. But it flies high. It never looks. It's never in the problems. It looks the problem from above. So it's a beautiful animal. So when I see an eagle, I feel strong.
Very good. Who do you feel is your biggest supporter in your career?
My parents, I would think, are my biggest supporters. My kids too. My kids my daughter Lana, she calls me before and after every race and sends me messages and posts on her Instagram and go mommy, we believe in you, and makes me a video if she's not in with me. She travels across the world usually to support me. All my kids, but she is the one that is big in terms of my support. My parents as well, my mom and dad. I always call my mom before the race and call her afterwards, and she stays up even if it's on a different time zone until I'm done.
Yes, we have seen now obviously during the lockdown and afterwards, a lot of people got into cycling, a lot of people get into triathlon, a lot of the local community get into. Do you have any tips, specific things, maybe you would say for ladies or for local ladies, how to get into the sport of triathlon? What would be your first go-to thing to do to get into the sport?
I think the biggest thing is to start slowly and find a mentor or a coach or a group, because in a lot of things, we get too excited in the beginning. We start reading books or watching YouTube videos on how to train, and I see this a lot of the times is that we overdo it and then we, pull a muscle or hurt ourselves. So it's nice to have the proper coaching or mentor or a group that would help you set up the right bike, the right running shoes, and start slowly and just enjoy it.
Enjoy, yeah, and start with shorter events and then work your way up.
Definitely start with shorter events, see what it's like, see if this is something you like, that falls you want to do it. Obviously, us people in the Middle East, swimming is one of, even though we live on the sea, but like competitive swimming is something that people feel a little apprehensive about. So smaller events are nice because then it means that they don't have to swim the far distance.
Yes, yes. We spoke about COVID and obviously the time in these times. Is there something you feel like you learned during these times, which you hope it will continue with us? So maybe more time with the family or anything. Is there anything you feel you saw and you changed in your life and you think you want to stick to that?
Yes, absolutely. So with COVID, what we learned is, first of all, that this is a chance to put our life on pause and just really evaluate. Is this how we want to live our life? Is the stress level? A lot of us were under a lot of stress, moving like different appointments and different jobs and different, travel schedule. And all of a sudden you had the chance to just kind of like sit still. We as triathletes, as endurance athletes, find it very difficult and challenging to stay still. So this was a nice chance to really evaluate life, see, is this the path we want to take? How do we see ourselves in the future? And it was super challenging not having an event. Our life is structured. Us as athletes, that has job and family and a lot of obligation. Our life is very structured. So now a big part of your life is taken away because you have you can't cycle outside, you don't have any races, everything falls apart in somehow. So it is an anxiety producing in the beginning, and then you get to see, okay, is this something I love? Am I willing to just cycle and bike and work on my strength without a goal? But I personally started putting smaller goals for myself. Okay, maybe I can work on my strength. Maybe I can do a bit more gym work. Maybe I can improve my cycling. Maybe little things. Maybe I can do band work because there's no pool available to swim at.
Yes.
So as long as we give, I think we need motivation. So we need to give ourselves little goals every day that we can achieve.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be Kona, because now we don't know if Kona is going to happen, but we know that the small steps.
Yes. If you're looking back now from year 2000 to 2002, when you started, is there something you wish you would have known back then and you would have done a little different?
I wish I had all the resources I have now. Like, I didn't know the importance of a strength program at that time. So I had years where I overtrained, and then I ended up being injured because I didn't have the balancing muscles to combat all that strenuous activity that I was doing. I wish I knew what kind of coaching or a coach personality that suits me more. But, you know, as humans, we learn by trial and error. So we learn from every single mistake and we move on. We look at the positive in it and we leave the negative behind and one more step forward.
If you had a time machine, would you go forward in time to see what's happening in the future, or would you go back and maybe see if you could change a few things there or just relive it again?
I don't think I'll do either, because the past is the past. It's already, if you go back to the past, you just live the memory that has already passed you. If you go too much in the future, then you lose the present moment. So I think I would stay where I am. Just be present, but be more present.
Be more present.
Rather than me as my personality, I'm always jumping forward. I'm always looking way ahead. So I learned it maybe from COVID to be present.
That's true. I enjoy these talks because it's sometimes where I really have 1.5 hours to be present with someone and really listen and do this. It's really nice. And doing obviously the research about people and spending time, it's nice. Do you have any funny and strange habits? And maybe what would your children say what it is? Is there anything you do?
Maybe we should ask them.
Okay, very good. And is there any important rule and anything you put yourself as a rule in life where you say, listen, this is a non-negotiable for me. I would always do this. And this is something I live my life by?
Honesty. I think honesty, because I don't like being around dishonest people. I think honesty is a key of life. So whether, there's a marshal checking if I'm drafting or not, I have to be honest with myself. I'm doing this because of me. I'm not doing this because of anyone. So I have to be honest in everything I do.
Nice. So you have done, obviously, your children, you have done your dental career, you have done Ironman, you have done Kona. What's on the bucket list?
A lot of things on the bucket list, but as I said, it's a challenge against myself. And the first year after I finished Kona, I've gone through like few months where I was just doubting, okay, now I've had this dream for so many years and now I achieved this dream. And what's next? Do I go back or do I find something else? And I sat with this for a little bit, and then I knew that I still love Kona and I would love to go even every year. I don't mind. It's still just being part of that. I love triathlon. I have a huge passion for it. I would love to nowadays maybe also still work on improving myself and improving my time, but maybe this is also the time to pass on the knowledge that I've learned to people in my community, to my surrounding, I try, to coach people and give them, listen to what they want to do and guide them a little bit and mentor a few athletes. So I think this is the time for me to spread the knowledge and help others.
Very nice. Obviously, Kona is interesting. I promise not to speak about age, but I think this is one thing where you want to get older in that sport, because you want to you want to get in this next age bracket and then compete again. So
and be the youngest against the.
You have to be the youngest in the next age bracket, and then do you feel your best shape still to come? You feel like you can get even better than that, or you feel like 2018, 2019 was something you reached an extremely good level already?
I used to think the same thing, like, okay, if I move up an age group, I will be better. But the problem, we all move together. It's everyone is moving up together. So I think nowadays, compared to years ago, you see the athletes as they age, they take better care of their body, they're
Yes.
stronger. So it used to be like when you see someone in their 60s, this is a declining performance. Now you see them even in their 70s, 70, 74, and they're still performing really well and really strong. So I think if we take care of our body, if we feed our body the right food, if we reduce our stress level, if we train smart, not overtrain, but just train smart and make sure that we are listening to how the body's talking to us, I think there's still potential.
Nice.
There's a lot of potential to improvement, and with the experience gets your experience in racing. You know what mistakes not to take, you know how far you should push your body. But again, at the end, it's a race against yourself.
Nice. Who do you think is your biggest inspiration as an athlete? Maybe in triathlon or outside triathlon, is there any athlete you think, okay, this really shaped my sports career?
You know, in triathlon, I loved Chrissy Willington. I don't know if you know her. She's English. So Chrissy, first of all, always raced with a smile.
Yeah.
And she didn't come from athletic background. She was, I think, I don't remember if she was a lawyer, just like came upon the sports in just and by almost accident. And she excelled for a few years. She broke a lot of records. She won Kona. But I can relate to her because she was always pleasant. She was always smiling. Even when she retired, gracefully, happily. So I always smile in the race, always smile. And if I'm not smiling, you know that there's something wrong. Even if you're going through rough time, if you smile, it puts a positive attitude, and then people around you would smile back. So I often hear the comment at the, oh my God, look at that smile. She's still smiling.
And you never know where's a photographer to take a nice picture. So
exactly.
You want to make sure you look good. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I have a few questions as well, some short things. If you could spend a day with one person, dead or alive, who would that be?
That is a good question. I would think spend it with my grandfather. My grandfather from my father's side passed away when I was young, but he was a military guy. And he had a lot of stories. I never got to hear all his stories, but I would spend the day with him and learn from him. He was a very wise man, yet a very military-like personnel.
Very nice. Yeah, very good. What was the best day of your career or of your life so far?
I think the best day would be the day is the day I went to Kona. I think that just getting the spot to Kona, I could not sleep that night.
So was it the day you got a spot, or the day maybe the night before or whatever?
No, I think the day you got the spot, because when you go to let's say you qualify for the Olympics, you go to the Olympics. Yes. The hard part is qualifying.
Yes.
Going is the celebration.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, you celebrated. And what was the hardest day when you were racing? You remember? Maybe you don't remember.
Yes, definitely. I remember.
You remember.
I remember going to Ironman Texas, and I thought, doing the statistics and stuff, like Texas was a hot race. It was just suited my abilities. I trained so hard, I think for 4 or 5 months, like really hard. I did all the statistics, and it came like, I thought, okay, I have a very good chance of coming top 10. But when you go like this, you go with a lot of ego. And you know what happens when you go with a lot of ego? You get crushed. And I remember my stomach was not doing well, and I was vomiting, and I finished that race. I was just crushed. And that was the only race after I finished that I thought, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe just, that's it. I don't want to do this anymore. But like a month later, I rethought to myself, I was like, okay, no, I still have Kona in me. I still want to get it. But maybe this was not the right approach. So there was a pivotal moment in my training and my approach to races, is that you can't approach races, or to me, this works for me, with a big ego, thinking, okay, I am ready, I'm going to crush it. No, you got to be humble. And just know that you've done your best, embrace the environment. So I race with nature, I race with a lot of spirituality, rather than racing with, I'm just strong, I'll do it. And I don't know, I feel that it gives me more, it enlightens my soul, it gives me a more of a positive experience. And then, the end result is whatever happens, but enjoying the experience, enjoying that long race day, with all the pains and the suffering and also all the joyful moments.
You enjoy the full distance more or the half distance?
I think maybe genetically I'm stronger in the full distance. I know the full distance hurts more, takes more training, but I feel I excel with longer duration. But I also enjoy the half, because the half doesn't take as much abuse on the body, and you can recover from it quickly. So you could do more. With the full, it's hard to do a lot of races because it's you need recovery time.
Mm-hmm. You like to challenge yourself. So when was the last time you did something for the first time?
In COVID, we did a lot of things for the first time. Training so much indoor, just sitting in the balcony for so long. For the first time, sitting in the park. This COVID has been a lot of first times.
Okay, nice. Good. A perfect day for you is?
A perfect day is a day in nature. So I connect well with nature. First, a perfect day is a day if I wake up and I don't hear like noises and cars, and I could just listen to the birds. I could just feel the sunshine on my skin, and just go for a nice maybe walk or run or even swim in the water. That's a perfect day.
Is it then more mountains or is it more ocean, or it doesn't really matter?
It doesn't really matter. It depends on your surrounding. I like to experience different stuff. That's why I like to do races in different countries, because with every race, with every environment, like when you do a race for such a long time, you're part of that environment. You embrace it.
Mm-hmm. If you finish the sentence, it's too early to
retire.
retire. Good, very good. We want to see more of you. Yeah. I wish I had.
I wish I had patience to be in the present moment. More patient.
More patience. Your hero is?
My hero is my dad.
Nice, nice, very nice. What makes him your hero? What's special? What do you feel is
his ethics?
Really?
His ethics and his dedication to his kids, and how the values he installed in all of us. And his philosophy in life.
Mm-hmm. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
We are five. So we're 2 sisters and 3 brothers.
And where were you? Older, younger?
Guess, Wolfi.
You're younger.
No, I'm older. Younger is a wise choice.
But I'm the younger one. I thought sometimes you learn from the others, and you see what they're doing, and sometimes it's maybe the challenge of being. You see the others and you're inspired by them, because I'm the youngest, we are 6 children, but I have 3 older brothers, and I was always inspired by them to say, I want to follow their footsteps. My oldest brother was a very sporty person, and I was always trying to not to beat him, but just to go with him. I think that was quite interesting. So then you have a leading personality. That's interesting. The greatest triathlete of all times? Wellington, or is there any male person?
I think Chrissy Wellington. I think Greg Alexander as well. He's a top athlete. I love professional athletes that are approachable, and that are that you can connect with. Like we are not superhero. We're people that juggle life. We're not professional athletes. We're people that have a job, have a home, have to take care of a lot of responsibilities. So to connect to pros that kind of give you the vibes that they also have busy lives and they have to juggle many things, and things sometimes don't go well. I think these are my 2 favorite.
Have you ever been on a tandem?
No, I have not, but I want to.
Okay, just want to see would you sit on the front or in the back? What would be your position?
Oh, I think I'll have the stronger person in the back. It depends. We have to
So
see.
you're in control. Very good. Anyone you wish you had on your tandem to spend some hours with him, talking, cycling?
I wish I had Lance Armstrong, because I really want to listen to his story. For the longest time, he's our hero. I think he's an unbelievable athlete, but I would love to listen to his story, like listen to the real story of what happened.
He has a podcast, which is
I listened to his podcast. Yeah. So as controversial as it is, but I would love to listen to the real story of what happened.
Sorry. Yeah. Maybe Oprah has to give it a second.
Maybe.
If you write a book about your career, what is going to be the title?
The Eagle.
The Eagle. Very nice. You have a favorite quote?
My favorite quote is maybe one step at a time. Like anything in life, you just take one step at a time, as long as you're moving forward. I don't know if it's a quote, but it's how I live my life.
Nice. If you had one piece of advice, one piece of wisdom you could leave behind and you want to give to people, what would it be?
I would encourage everyone to find a dream. And this dream doesn't have to be an athletic dream. Could be anything. Could be a dream of, I don't know, learning a skill or learning a musical instrument, but find something that ignites passion in us, because we need that. We need that spark to stay young, to feel life, to feel the joy. So everyone can look inside themselves and choose something they want to achieve, or a dream. And it has to be their dream, not a reality dream, not a dream that could be achieved, not the father wish, not the mother wish, something within yourself.
Very nice. Where can people follow you? It's on Arabian Tri-Eagle on Instagram?
No, I think the Instagram is Dina Al-Tayeb.
Okay, Dina.Al-Tayeb. Okay, I will.
That's the public account. Yeah, that's
very nice. And when are you coming back to Dubai?
Soon, maybe. You and I, my first bike was bought from you, and
yes.
And part of my support is you and your bike shop. Whenever I run into any technical problems anywhere in the world, I'm hello, Wolfi, could you please help? And you've always been a great help. So I truly believe in what you're doing and how well you're doing it, and the attention you give to everyone. So, when it's not about just buying a bike, it's about buying a bike and just establishing connection and knowing that someone will always care for you and give you the advice that's needed.
Yes. What I have to say, obviously, for all the team, and since 2002, you've been coming to the shop, and it's for us always an amazing story and an amazing achievement. And we're really proud if we see people excel in their career and going so far. And obviously seeing you from a regular athlete to an Ironman athlete, that is an amazing story. And I'm really happy that I could share this story today for our listeners. So I want to thank you again. And I'm really looking forward, Dina, to see you back in Dubai for our Friday morning rides and maybe for a nice dinner as well. And I want to thank you for the time, and you've been a real inspiration for a lot of people, and especially for the Arab world, showing people that if you dream, you can really achieve something special.
Thank you, Wolfi. That's been unbelievable, and thank you very much for inviting me. It's a great journey. It has not ended yet. There's more chapters to come.
More to come.
And I will share more and more with you as the days pass.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for listening. Great story from Dina. And next Wednesday, a little later at about 9 o'clock, we have Adam Hansen. And Adam Hansen is a professional cyclist, and he has done in his career 25 Grand Tours. So it's an amazing amount of riding, and he's a very techie person when it comes to all kind of bicycle equipment. So it's going to be an interesting talk as well with him. So I'm looking forward to speak to him. And Dina, I wish you all the best, and we see you soon. Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you everyone for watching. Have a good evening. Bye.